The night was still in Great Bend, Kansas. A gentle breeze rustled the wheat fields. Inside a modest home, a young babysitter read bedtime stories. Her charge, a 6-year-old boy, snuggled close. He was afraid of the dark. He was certain monsters lurked in the shadows. The babysitter smiled reassuringly. There were no such things as monsters. The babysitter tucked the boy into bed. She promised to check under the bed just in case. He giggled nervously. She peered under the bed. It was empty, of course. She smiled at the boy's relief. He was a sweet child, but his imagination ran wild sometimes. She turned off the light and quietly closed the door. The babysitter went downstairs. She settled into the living room couch. She picked up a book, trying to ignore the creaking sounds of the old house. It was probably just the wind. She tried to focus on her book, but a nagging sense of unease lingered. She glanced at the clock. It was getting late. She hoped the boy was sound asleep. She decided to check on him one last time before settling in for the night. As she climbed the stairs, she couldn't shake the feeling that something was wrong. The hallway was dark, lit only by the faint glow of the nightlight. The babysitter tiptoed toward the boy's room. She paused at the door, listening. She thought she heard a soft whimpering coming from inside. She slowly pushed the door open. "Is everything okay?" she whispered. The boy sat up in bed, his eyes wide with terror. He pointed a trembling finger towards the bed. "He's back," he whispered. "The monster is under my bed." The babysitter's heart pounded in her chest. She forced a smile. "There's no monster, honey," she said, her voice trembling. "It was just a bad dream." She walked over to the bed and peered underneath. She couldn't see anything in the darkness. "See?" she said. "There's nothing there." The boy shook his head, his eyes fixed on the space beneath the bed. "He's there," he insisted. "I can hear him breathing." The babysitter's blood ran cold. She took a deep breath and knelt down. She reached under the bed, her hand groping in the darkness. She felt something solid, something that shouldn't be there. Her fingers brushed against rough fabric. Panic surged through her. She recoiled her hand as if she had been burned. She knew in that instant that the boy's nightmare was real. There was someone, or something, hiding under the bed. The babysitter scrambled to her feet, her heart pounding in her ears. She told the boy to stay in his room and lock the door. She ran down the stairs, her mind racing. She had to call for help. She fumbled for her phone, her hands trembling. Just as she was about to dial 911, she heard a noise from upstairs. Heavy footsteps. Someone was coming down the stairs. She froze, her blood turning to ice. A dark figure emerged from the shadows at the top of the stairs. The babysitter screamed. She knew in that moment that she was in terrible danger. The man lunged at her, his face contorted with rage. The babysitter dropped her phone and ran. She could hear him crashing through the house behind her. She ran out the back door into the night. She didn't stop running until she reached the safety of a neighbor's porch. She pounded on the door, her cries for help swallowed by the night. The neighbor, a kindly old woman, answered the door. She gasped when she saw the terrified young woman on her doorstep. The police arrived within minutes. They found the man hiding in the attic of the house. He was arrested and charged with aggravated kidnapping and child endangerment. The babysitter and the boy were safe, but the trauma of that night would stay with them forever. The man's name was Martin Villalobos Jr., and he had once lived in the house. There was a protection order against him, forbidding him from being there. He was held on a $500,000 bond. The quiet town of Great Bend was shaken to its core. The monster under the bed was real, but so was the courage of the young babysitter who had faced him down.